Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, well, um, I don't suspect we'll be here more than an hour. Let me see. Get rid of that, and that, and that. Let me close down some of these windows I got open. Okay, before we have another computer overload, huh? Don't want that to happen. I'm running out of computers. Okay. Let's see. Who have we here? Helen Marmon, thank you so much for being first. Greatly appreciate it. And hello to Carlene Beckford. Rohini is here. Katie V, Black Queen, Auntie Jane, Anastasia, Mary H, B. Martin, Elaine Parker. Good morning, Elaine Parker. Um, Judy Matasset is here. Okay. Sherry Ware. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll to the beginning. Hark, Church Nellie is here. Can't believe it. Church Nellie is here. Well, good. Oh, Leslie F. Martine, okay. TB. And from the Duchess of Success. Late Night Club was up in the club. Or do things to throw our hands up in the air and wave them high like we just don't care. Okay, very cool. All right, so I finished The Crown tonight. Oh God, that was hard to watch. That was so hard to watch. It was very, 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 very hard to watch. Also, did you guys know that Meghan is an executive producer? Yes, she is a princess and a producer. And Harry, of course, is a prince and a producer. Um, Good to know that they can multitask. Okay, very modern couple. Hey, Lydia Washington. Okay, we'll get into that. All right, so there is our executive producer and princess, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And of course, people are still reeling from the appearance that she made. Of course, it was um, it was a surprise. It was a surprise, and from what I hear from some of the people that were there, is that everyone was very pleasantly surprised. They were surprised. Um, it was I don't think it was announced at all. And so even the people who were being honored that night, it was just as big a surprise to them as anyone else in the room. And so that very stealthy appearance that the Duchess of Sussex made has been a huge success. As a matter of fact, let us take a look. I just do a quick um, flashback at the past. Wait a minute. Okay, so it started right here 2 nights ago. I was just about to go on at this same time, and all of a sudden, I saw photos. And I'm going to tell you, honest, this was my response. Ooh, 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 oh my, ooh. I couldn't believe it. All I could say was, ooh. And so I was so busy trying to get those photos up, my hands were shaking. Hi, Black Queen. Let's see. Hi, Baron. Anastasia is missing her wrench. Is she? You know what? Um, since Church Nellie was back, I took her away from the other kind of moderator, and I was putting her back to the original moderator. But I guess I must have just taken her down completely. So let me see if I can fix that right now. Thank you for the reminder. Um, Okay, let me see if I can fix that right now. And if it doesn't work now, let me see. Anastasia is still the other wrench, but let me see if I can fix it. It says she is, but Anastasia, you have a different account now. Maybe that's yeah. You know what? That was you're still the old account wrench, not the new account wrench. Okay, I see what I did. But yeah, I could fix it in a jiff. Let me see here. Go here. That's oh yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I can see different profile picture. So that's what happened. All right. Let me see. Okay. There we go. All right, should work now. It should work now. Let me refresh and see. Uh well, if it doesn't work this time, then let me see. Yeah, it says you're a standard moderator again. So there you go. That's what happened. I was looking at the old profile and I thought you were still there. So it should be good to go now. All right, it's fixed. Thank you for the reminder. And thank you for 17 months membership. Now, and also, Church Nelly, Lydia, I don't know if you guys know this, but if there is some words that you find offensive, you too have the ability of defining what words are blocked. Okay, let that sink in. Now, I've made a list of blocked words. And so in the comments, if someone tries to say any of those blocked words, then the comment won't work. So I won't tell you what it is because I don't want the derangers to try to substitute. But there are certain words that just never appear in the comments. And that's because there is a list of words that are blocked. I love that. So, yeah, certain words are unworkable in the comment section. So, you and Lydia, yeah, you can have fun with that if you like. But yeah, you can just omit certain words. Like, let's say, let me see. Let me see what whinge, whinge. You can, okay, that's one I'll give you. If you try to use the word whinge, it should not work. So that is one of the powers that you guys have. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I love it. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Oh, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for being here this morning for you. Um, and yeah, thank you very much. Oh, isn't that sweet? Sending love, Church. Yeah, that's so sweet. There you go, Church Nelly. You got some love there. Hey, Lucy Wynn. Yes, but do me a favor, Church Nelly, Lydia, please don't block my name. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? There's certain words that you could just omit. So if they try to use certain words, their comments, every day I go and look and I see some of the deranger comments are not working because some of the adjectives that they used have been blocked. Oh, that's like one of my favorite features. Okay. So, anyway, now that the cat is out the bag, no offense to the Princess of Wales, but now that the cat is out the bag, woo, that's funny. Okay, let me stop. I'm being silly now. Yeah, it don't work in the it don't work in the chats. Well, in the comments rather. It won't work in the comments. That and a few other select words. So, but here I think you still have to do them manually. I think so. I think that's how it works. But okay, so let's move on. Executive producer, the Duchess of Sussex. Oh yeah, we were doing like a quick review of how it all happened. Okay, so night one, there were these photos that popped up, and the Daily Mail, they had so much fun because they knew they could make some money. You know what I'm saying? It was an opportunity for them to cash in on the Sussexes. So there, Meghan's Hollywood night. Meghan's Hollywood night in big bold letters, right? Woo, that was fun, wasn't it? Meghan's Hollywood night. And they just had picture after picture. There's Meghan's amazing bun. They were in hog heaven. And okay, so yeah, those were the first photos that I started with. And then day two, um, oh, by the way, one of the derangers was very upset about my thumbnail. They said, if you keep, what is that they said? If you keep posting ugly pictures of Kate. And first of all, I think this is an absolutely charming photo of Kate. If you keep posting ugly pictures of Kate, then we're going to post some pictures of Meghan too. And believe me, what was that they said? You'll lose or something like that. They said. Well, y'all been trying to do that for the longest, and you have like three or four photos that somebody in crazy land has photoshopped. But the truth is, we all have seen Meghan under the bright, glaring lights of the red carpet moment, and she looked absolutely fabulous. Up close, fabulous, picture perfect. Huh? So, what are we supposed to be afraid of? I'm sorry, what was that again? I couldn't understand what they were saying. So, yeah, they were just so angry at me. I thought this was lovely. Her natural hair is billowing in the wind. She has that nice texture to her. She looks nice. And I don't try to discern any, I don't see people like that. I just grab the first photo I saw of Meghan, other than being out that night. See, I wanted to be fair and have a daylight photo, right? To have a daylight photo, an outdoor daylight photo of the two of them. So I just picked a couple of random photos so that it would be fair, right? That was it. There was no Church Nelly is back, y'all. But there was no favoritism or shade or anything like that intended. I just wanted to show both of them in a very similar time of day, lighting conditions, etc. That's it. There was no shade or anything like that. I don't. I don't really. It's just like when it comes to race, I don't see color. When it comes to beauty, I think all of us are God's children, and we're all equally beautiful. So I don't make any determinations one way or the other. When I see humanity, I see beauty, because we are all beautiful, no matter what shape or size. And even if our hair color does not exist in nature, even if our mouth is askew, even if our mouth is askew, we're all beautiful inside and out. So I take exception to that accusation. So there you go. Um, and of course, this was the next night. There's the There's some additional photos that I was able to share the next night, and this was like the big overwhelming response to Meghan's appearance. And let us not forget the nice video that I shared yesterday, which, by the way, I added those videos. Well, I broke them into 3 videos and uploaded them as shorts. So if you guys want to see those again with the really nice jazzy music, you can do that. But yeah, so this is where it went. And it just goes to show there is such a vast difference. Even when, let's say, they had the 007 premiere and somebody had wore that gold lame gown, that gown that looked like the mother of a solid gold dancer. The one that showed up looking like the mother of a solid gold dancer, that was supposed to be their big moment. But even when Meghan wears the simplest things, like a J. Crew cardigan, it trends for days. The fortunes of the designers all of a sudden has risen, right? Their fortunes have grown exponentially. And that's just a common thread anytime Meghan makes an appearance. So, um, you know, and so for that reason, as you know, there has been a lot of copying and stuff just to try to confuse the viewer, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Meghan was declared a fashionista some time ago, and she has been a blessing to a lot of the designers and manufacturers. Everyone from Dior, J. Crew, even to that little purse company when she was engaged. All of those situations where she's out and about has made a big difference. Okay. Yeah. And so here's just a couple more from that I shared yesterday. So this was the first 24 hours. By the way, I was trying to preserve the dignity of that poor lady sitting there next to Meghan, the one with the big soup coolers. I was trying to preserve her dignity, but one of the magazines went ahead and threw her photo out there anyway. So I tried to help her out, but oh well. Um, anyway, the focus is on Meghan. I doubt if anybody noticed her. I doubt if anybody noticed her. Um, but yeah, so let's get over to today's photos really fast. So yeah, that was after 24 hours of Meghan. This is like my favorite little thing right here is 10 seconds with the Duchess. I really don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, did I black out? Yep. Don't even remember what was said. Did I probably hold on to her hand a little too long when she reached out? Yup. Is this clip going at the top of my reel on loop for 2 minutes? Sorry, not sorry. Yup. So that was one of the reactions. Of course, that was I believe she was from Entertainment or Extra. I think she was from Extra, the lady from Extra that interviewed her. So I love this photo right here, by the way. You could really see how perfect her bun is right there. And that, of course, is the artist. I hate to call him a hairdresser, the artist that created the amazing bun. Okay, and not a single hair out of place. And then, of course, right there, the very last part of that article. And let me tell you, I strained my eyes, peering closely at various photos of her from the event. And when I thought I finally spotted a flyaway, I immediately realized that a piece of dog fur was stuck to my laptop screen. I need to know how hairstylist Marty Harper accomplished this incredible feat. Yeah, it is beautiful. That is a beautiful bun. At first, I just, I thought it was not as, but it seems to be a very complicated bun. It seems like it's layers and textures of hair. So I think up close and in person is probably far more impressive than it is in these photos. Joanne Lawman, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here tonight and being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's go back over to today. And still, people are just, and it's such a simple look, understated, very minimal makeup, tiny little gold hoop earrings. And yet, and yet, it just, as they say, oozes glamour. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Hair wax, simple and easy. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. Of course, I've never had a bun, so I wouldn't know. Yes, exactly. Anastasia says Meghan's bun made headlines. It certainly did. It certainly did. And if you go on the hair artist, if you go on his Instagram, you will see that that bun is kind of like a signature hairstyle for oh gosh, I don't know the name of the place. I don't know if it's his shop or if he works at a shop or what, but I mean, I'm sure it's his shop. And he also does a lot of flying around, taking care of people. But I saw some other photos on his Instagram and I was like, wow, I can see they're very good at this. No wonder, only the best for our Duchess. No wonder. Okay, that explains a lot. So yeah, if you, what is his name? Marty, whatever it is, Marty. Uh, Let me see. Okay, let me take that away. Marty, where did I just see his name? uh, didn't I just see it? Uh, I am tripping, Anna. Anyway, that guy. Um, I'm tripping. But yeah, so check out his Instagram. It was very interesting. Okay, so after 24 hours, they had to make a decision. Do we want to stick with some reasonably positive or barely positive headlines, or do we want to go south? Meghan's Hollywood relaunch. Okay, that's rather innocuous, right? And then, has Meghan blown it? So this was the headline for the US, and this was the headline for the UK. Now, maybe eventually they change both of them to a single headline, but yeah. So this is the direction they decided to go. They're going, instead of nobody wants to know the Sussexes as the talking point, or the the headline, or you know they they're not that popular. That little theme that they've had going all this time now is going to drift into they don't have any projects. Nobody wants to back them, or that kind of thing. So before it was about friendship, now it's about their ability to produce. So they're just changing the theme of how they're going to try to undermine Harry and Meghan. The problem with that is that every time they try to count them out, they always make an epic return. So I would pay no attention to it. They Money keeps money. That's the old saying. Money keeps money, and they have some incredible connections, right? So one thing's for sure, they will never ever go hungry. And yes, being a producer is not easy. But then again, walking away from an abusive institution was not easy either, but they were able to do that in the most epic way. You see, they are protected by a lot of people that pray every day, people like you and I. Um, and of course, grandmothers. Grandmothers. I would wager a lot on a praying grandmother. So pay no attention to the naysayers. They're only trying to get into your heads. They're only trying to wield their nasty and negative thoughts onto people. But as we have seen, they have been protected in so many ways that we can't even calculate. And in spite of the worst that they have tried, literally taking their security away and taking their money away, the institution failed, the tabloids have failed, and the Sussexes, they just keep rising. So this is what should have happened a year ago, right? But the Queen passed away, and they had other stuff that they were working on. But we're back. We're back, and it's a new day, and everything is different. So um, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a relaunch. It's not a relaunch until I hear Meghan say it. But they were out networking here and networking there. Harry's been networking. Meghan has been networking. And trust me, there's a lot of people that want to talk to them. Let us not forget that not only are the Sussexes working on projects, but they have hired a lot of talented people. And the reason why you hire people with certain talents is so that you can have a better chance of a good outcome. That is textbook when it comes to Hollywood. So I'm not worried about it. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Carolita Simone. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right. Thank you very much. Oh, put a little. All right, there we go. Take a look at a couple of your comments. So, Baron, let's entertain this for a second. What if PhoneGate did happen? What do you think they would report next? You know, I was listening to people saying that if there was a phone call and if um, Archie and Lily had a conversation with Charles on the Zoom or whatever, we would know about it because the photos would be out there. I disagree with that. Charles is a lot of things, but he's not altogether crazy. And I just don't, the Daily Mail has blurred images of the Sussex children because the children are living in California. They are not a commodity for the tabloids as much as they would want them to be. And we just don't know. But if the only thing that people are going on is the fact that the photos hasn't been leaked by Clarence House or the video hasn't been leaked, I don't believe that Charles would do that, especially against Harry's will or wishes. That would set off a huge problem between the two households. And I just don't think Charles is ready for that smoke. And that is to say whether or not he would want to do it. And the reason why I say that is because Harry and Meghan were in contact with the Queen and with Philip. And if anyone working in that household or any family member who had access to that connection, because the Queen did not dial them up on Zoom, Whoever put it together, if Charles was so interested, he could have used his coercion to have done that a while ago. And I just don't think that's the case. I think we should just leave it alone. And if there is something, some back channel or some communication with Harry and his father, they will handle that themselves. But if the only thing we're going on is that Charles would have put those photos out there, I don't think Charles is that stupid. I don't think he's that stupid. That would cause a whole new set of problems, and I don't believe that he would want that. So, whether or not there was a phone call is interesting. That the Sussexes haven't denied it, right? The nature of the call, whether or not Meghan was there, whether or not the Sussex children were made available, that may have just been something added on for the sake of convenience, right? And convenience, of course, the tabloids, so that they can make it look like they got more of an inside track, but we just don't know. We just don't know. But that is his father. He did go to the coronation. He is still a council of state, and Harry is a monarchist. He believes in monarchy. That's part of his legacy, his childhood. That's his family. Um, and he still believes in the institution. So if that's the case, then even the fact that he is still using his titles, not for business, but for legal purposes. Um, and his father is the sovereign. At some point, maybe that'll change, but Harry's not ready to make that change. And I'm going to support him whichever direction he goes. But I wouldn't discount the idea that they may or may not have spoken. The nature of the call and what happened throughout the phone call, we may never know. We may never know. But I don't think that the palace is going to throw those kids out there without their parents' consent. I mean, literally, they could get in. They could. I don't know that it would be beyond the Sussexes to end up in court about something like that. So it would get really messy, messing with somebody else's kids like that, even if you are the sovereign. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. But thank you so much for your comment. Okay. The UK media has not told the truth yet, so why give them credit for something they do not know? They know nothing, flap their gums about nothing. Yeah, they're not above lying. They are not above lying, but sometimes the lie is coming from the palace. Sometimes the lie is coming from the palace. It is orchestrated by the palace, not necessarily originating from the tabloids. Yeah, they don't know anything of Harry and Meghan's plans, and what kills the UK press. Oh, that's what kills. I'm sorry, that's what kills the UK press. They are can't get exclusivity. What Harry and Meghan will be doing. Yeah, that they sit there and speculate, and to show you how much they know, something like this happens and they had no clue about it. None. Megan just pops up with the bun of all buns, looking fresh, rested, hydrated, tan, and they had no clue. They kept saying Megan's going to do a relaunch. Megan's going to do a relaunch. How about Megan's just working? How about Meghan is just doing what she's always doing? She's been working. That's it. I'm not even going to use the title relaunch. That's the words of the tabloid. Unless the Sussexes say, oh, this is a relaunch. They have been working since they got to California. They've been working. So what's the relaunch? Thank you for your comment. Reinvent themselves. Keening, Harry and Meghan have been in and around working on. Thank you for a while, so no relaunch. Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you. This is not a relaunch. They're working. They're doing what Hollywood moguls do. You go to events, you network, you talk to people. That's it. It's no defined hours for that kind of work. You talk to people. Period. That's it. Thank you so much, Marjorie. That is brilliant. All right. Um, let's see. I think she most definitely been doing some acting on the side though. No, definitely been doing some acting. No, I mean, you know, let's say something emerges in the future, and you may be very right. Maybe she did something, and we just don't know about it. But for now, there is nothing in production that we know about. And I say let it be a surprise. But I do believe Meghan has retired from acting. Meghan's not trying to get in front of the camera. Production, production is where the real work happens. Production. Anybody who's had any big success, even for actors, production is where you want to be. There's more power behind the camera than in front of the camera. So, and they are a power couple. So I don't think acting is on the menu for Meghan. Okay, I'm going to go on. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong slides. There we go. So we talked about those. Let's talk about the outfit. So that is the Cartier bracelet, the what is it? Proenza shoulder dress, right? The Majuri hoop earrings, and I don't know what that other piece is down there. The Aquazzura pump, and did I miss anything? They never mentioned the clutch. They never mentioned the clutch. So, and what the heck is DD? What is DD? DD is, what the heck is DD? DD! What the heck is DD? I don't know what that is. Let me see if I can blow this up so I can see what it says. Oh, DD is that is whoever the person is that made the slide. I thought I was losing my mind for a second there. The person who put the slide together, that's Dee Dee. Okay, and then another squatty made a collage. My beautiful queen, Meghan Markle. Love it. Love, love, love it. Okay, next. And of course, the Aquazzura. I guess this is a conceptual sketch of the actual shoe. Nobody's foot looked like that, I'm sure, but that is the conceptual sketch of the actual shoe or a reinterpretation of the shoe, one or the other. But it is beautiful. Meghan loves her Aquazzura. Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, wearing the Aquazzura Dangerous Liaison Pump 105 at the Variety Power of Women event at Mother Wolf in Los Angeles, California. Now, I don't know if this is an official Aquazzura Twitter account because it doesn't have the blue check mark. And, but I guess either way is for someone who loves Aquazzura. So let's go with that. And finally, let's get to The Crown. How many of y'all have watched it? If you have watched it, show me some flowers. If I could quote Betty Davis, my favorite, well, one of my favorite actors, it was terrible. It was terrible. If you have not watched it, if you were disappointed by season 5, you need not bother. When I tell you that this was some of the worst cinema I have ever seen, It was dreadful. Now, the quality of the production is still top drawer. I mean, it is epic quality, although it's not as big in certain ways as it has been, but it's awful. It is awful. When I tell you it's awful, I literally finished it while I was prepping for tonight because I wanted to make sure that I was done. So, The Crown demise is a glittering metaphor for Netflix downward trajectory. Well, I pray that's not the case, but The Crown stinks. It stinks on hot ice. It's awful. Um, the actress that is playing the Queen is actually a bit, I think she's older than what the Queen was at the time. And so, I don't really care about that, but she just seems to be a little older than what the Queen was at the time. And that's kind of weird to look at because she looks more like the Queen would have looked about 10 years ago. Um, Let me see. What's worse, watching The Crown or listening to Kensington Karen's speech? Oh, well, I would say The Crown because it's more of a commitment, and Karen's speech, although it seems like it goes on for hours and episodes, it's only about 2 or 3 minutes. But The Crown was awful. Um, I don't have the words to describe how bad it was. Baron Breakbeat, please mimic Italian pickpocket. Attentiones! I don't watch The Crowness. Attentiones! I don't watch The Crowness. It was a terrible. Attentiones! I don't watch The Crowness. You are so right. That is what they should have used to discourage people from wasting their time. Where is that Italian lady? Where is that Italian lady when we need her? Attention! The Crown sucks. It was just terrible. It was like watching spinal fusion surgery, which I've watched that before. I'd rather watch spinal fusion surgery. Yes, the excitement that the patient, may or may not walk again was more interesting than watching The Crown, for sure. Okay. I kind of missed the break beat. It's been a while. So, I'm gonna get into some of the finer points of it to explain why I feel this way. Let's see. Lori says, decided after season 5 I was done with The Crown as I know what Diana's story was about. You know what, Lori? I'm glad you know because Peter, what's his name? Peter Morris or whatever his name is, he certainly don't seem to know. He has his own idea what her life was about. I forever see her as the queen, not the horse who is playing dress up. Okay, exactly. Well, I tell you, it was terrible. It was terrible. So, first of all, the Imelda, whatever her name is, that played the queen, she did a fantastic job as usual, right? Every actress that played the queen has been superb, superb. Each performance is just as good as the last. The first one, of course, is my favorite because she seemed to have more dimension. She had to go. She played the somewhat naive girl to the very assertive or indirectly assertive queen, and I think that was probably the best of the performances in my opinion. But she just had more dimension. The other ones just pretty much had to throw shade and give a little attitude, and but still very good, very very good. Olivia, Imelda, and the first girl, all of them were good. All right, so uh now the ghost of Diana and the ghost of Dodie. And normally, you guys, let me just say this. I don't like to spoil stuff for people. I don't care right now. I'm trying to save you. The ghost of Diana and the ghost of Dodie. There's Dodie talking to his father. There's Diana talking to the queen who looks petrified. And there's Diana who somehow managed to ghostly appear on the plane as her body is in the bulkhead being returned with Charles sitting across from her. Yeah, so this is when Charles was on his way back to London. um Charles is sitting there with tears in his eyes. Apparently he was supposed to have had this big breakdown in the hospital where you could hear all the way out in the hallway, and I was sitting up there with a smirk on my face like Marla Gibbs. I just did not care. I just did not care. I promise you, I had no sympathy for the characterization of Charles. I had no sympathy for the characterization of the Queen. I just did not care. They were not. I'm sure for someone who doesn't know different, that it may have meant something, or anyone who suffered grief um, may have felt an urge to mourn with some of these people. But at some point you're going to realize, wait a doggone minute. um those people, yeah, mourning in general, sure, but mourning with them, not. Mm-mm. The whole point of Diana's character making these appearances was to forgive and to absolve any type of blame that rightfully belong with the Queen, with Charles, with the institution, and anybody else. That was the whole point of Diana's character, was to give them a free pass. Yeah. In season 5, Charles goes to Kensington Palace and sits down with Diana and have a chat where they yell, scream, and cry and forgive each other. That was nonsense. And the same as in this season 6, where they yell, scream, and cry and forgive each other. Actually, I don't think they did much yelling this season. This season, it was all about them having a truce and promising to be civil for the sake of the boys, and we can be friends. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But that was the whole point of it, was an exercise to help Charles and Camilla, and to a lesser extent the Queen, was to help them. And Philip, I guess the producer, the director, writer of the series doesn't have a friendly feeling inside their body for Philip anymore, because Philip was totally just like in the movie The Queen, which the same person who made this also made The Queen. I guess he just really don't like Philip. I guess he ain't got no love or no respect for Philip. Let me see here. What is that guy's name? I keep talking about him. Let me make sure I get his name right. Uh, is Peter? What the? Why do I always forget his last name? Uh, Peter Morgan. I always want to say Morris, but it's Morgan. Peter Morgan, CBE. Peter Morgan is friends with Charles. Peter Morgan made the movie The Queen. He is the maker of The Crown. They hired themselves, Netflix hired a royal family propagandist to produce this series. Plain and simple. He's only there to provide cover for Charles and Camilla, and to a lesser extent, the Queen. And he's making a lot of money doing it. But the worst part, they appear to blame Diana's death on Dodi's dad. I was going to get to that. Blame the brown Muslim person. Blame him. They seem to infer that he was the one that hired the photographers that started the manhunt in the first place. He hired the photographers, according to Peter Morgan and The Crown. I'm just not buying it. They were after Diana long before that day. They were after her. They omitted so many crucial points of the story. And yeah, you can't cover them all, sure. But the whole ghost of Diana was to give them cover, to give them forgiveness, to make them seem as though they actually, it was to help them mourn. Diana seemed to appear as a grief counselor, not the victim of a mass conspiracy between Diana's grandmother, Charles's grandmother, the institution as a whole, whatever elements of the Spencer family. And I think at the very least, whatever role the Fayed family played was pretty small at that point. It was pretty small at that point. I was cringing. I was cringing. And then, of course, the build up to the accident, that was like that was just unnecessary torture. The build up to the accident. If you've watched any of those documentaries, you've seen enough of the build up to the accident. But before the accident, they were engaged, but they were not engaged. It seemed like they were engaged, but surely they couldn't have been, because there's no way she would have allowed herself to be engaged to someone like him, right? That was just an impossibility. And then, of course, there was the part where her sister supposedly told her, well, you know, this is addictive. It causes a lot of adrenaline. I know it's a lot of fun and games. It was in a way saying that she brought this on herself. What did you mean by just wait? I'll really show you something. It was to indicate in some way that Diana caused this to happen. And then at a certain point, Dodi conspired with his father to make sure that even if she saw the light at the last minute and tried to get out of it, it was too late. But it was her fault for being in that position in the first place. And her sister saying, are those the sort of people you want to be around? Well, I would take my chances with the Fayeds over those Windsors any day. I'd be afraid to be around those Windsors because they have a track record when it comes to people dying mysteriously and suddenly without any real explanation. B. Martim says, Baron, I think the ghosts represent their conscious of wrong they done to her. Like I said, a grief counselor. She was supposed to be a grief counselor to help them ease their guilt, to give them a cover for the nasty dealings that they've done. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that that she fits in a lot of ways, but their consciousness, they would have to have a conscious for Diana to be their conscious, and I don't think they have one. They're entitled, they're rich, and nobody ever says no to them. I'm just not buying it. But thank you so much for your comment, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Audrey Teschner says, Morning, Baron. Mod Squad and all Squad family around the world will replay later, getting ready for church. Love you guys. Thank you, Audrey Teschner, and thank you for stopping by to say hi. So, um, let me see. Let's see. The flag was not at half staff. The committee did not want to honor Diana, and she called it out. And she was called out for it, not doing nothing. Well, Lori, I believe that people were probably afraid to ask the queen, do you want to put the flag at half staff? Because there's a certain protocol to the flags when the queen is and is not in residence. And the easiest thing to do is to do nothing. It's just like with the title of the Sussex children. The title happened when the queen died. Charles would have to actively take the titles away, right? He would have to do that's something he couldn't do it. Parliament would have to do it. So it would take an action for that to happen. The inaction is leave them alone and leave their titles alone. And it's the same with the flag. Um, if you go by protocol, then you haven't done anything wrong. There's not a protocol for the flag at half staff for someone who is not a family member. Okay. But when it comes to the mood of the nation, you better put that flag down before you don't have a nation. So they were entitled to do nothing, but it wasn't the smart thing to do, right? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something. It wasn't smart. But I'm going to say, as much as I refuse to um, allow these people to escape without any finger pointing, a lot of things during the haze of the moment may have just simply been overlooked until somebody made a stink about it. And then all of a sudden, um, action was taken. But whether or not the queen refused to do it, we just don't know. It could have been a matter of nobody said anything. And when somebody got the courage to say something, and they said, listen, people are angry, you ought to do it. So I'm going to say this, because if I'm saying on the one hand, we don't have the benefit of what the conversation was, so how do you know about this? Then I have to do the same thing for that. But what we do know is that when it should have happened, it did not happen. It took a long time to react. Okay. But with any of these, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to caution, 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 caution. We were not privileged to not a single conversation or a single action that happened during those days. Not one. The only thing we know is what we saw on TV and what we saw in the photos. And that goes for all of that. Now, my opinion is something wholly different. My opinion is I don't believe that this over amount of grief that we've seen from the Queen, from Charles, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think that it solved a lot of problems for them, and they went on with life, business as usual. I do believe the Queen was sad for her grandchildren, but um, Grief affects people in different ways. And there are some people who never cry, who never have the open amount of grief for a loved one. And there's some people that just, can't keep it together. And then there's in between. And I just don't see that type of grief coming out of Charles or his mother. Charles may have felt afraid because he knew people would blame him, but grief, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm just, I find it hard to believe. Afraid, yes. Little guilt, sure. But grief, uh-uh, uh-uh. I ain't buying the grief part. Thank you so much, Lori, for your comment. I'm just not buying it. Um, I'll get to that in a second. Let me take a look at a couple more of your comments. Sure, Anastasia. I mean, anybody who suffered a loss, there's always the possibility that you will be asleep, and when you wake up, you will feel like you just had a conversation. That happens. That happens. And you're not afraid. As a matter of fact, sometimes you can take comfort in it. When people the closest to you pass away, when they die, they it's always that part of them that is part of your consciousness. But in no case ever have I ever had a conversation where something was resolved. I don't remember any resolution coming from it. Resolutions are for movies. Thank God Meghan got out of that demonic snake pit. Yes. Dos míos. Let me see here. I hope I hope Charles and his emotional support, Camilla, never have a moment's peace for that, for what they've done. I hope Princess Diana, will always be a thorn in the flesh to them. Well, the thing is, the thorn has to find its way through all of the folds and the creases and the crevices. So I guess it depends on where the thorn actually tries to enter the flesh, because there's a lot of, you know, creases that the thorn might get lost in. So I'm just saying, I'm just being shady. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of creases. So, okay, let me get to this photo right here. There was a movie called Charles III. In the movie Charles III, the movie actually represents a fictitious future Charles that suddenly grows a backbone and refuses to sign a law that appeared in his red box. And there were people that were instigating him either way, do it or don't do it. But the thing is, when the government comes up with a law, the sovereign never refuses. I don't care how much deference a prime minister shows publicly to a sovereign. It would be, um, I'm trying not to say that S word, but it would be very self destructive for the monarch to go against the parliament. It would be very unproductive. That's something that they just should not do. Occasionally, I'm sure that they work out some things, but they almost never refuse, and certainly not publicly. Let me see. Catherine Bryan says, "I don't know, Baron. I was 12 years old when my sister and her baby were dying in the hospital. My mom got up, started talking to someone and I couldn't see. I asked who she was talking to. Okay. So if that means that I suppose you mean that she was speaking to someone who had just passed away. Um, I don't know that we're actually looking at it differently, but maybe the interpretation is different. But I don't know. Um, you know, when I say resolve things, I'm talking about this kind of thing. I'm not talking about being at peace, resolve, right? I'm not talking about being at peace. I'm talking about what's happening here, where a woman has been groomed from age 16, married into that institution, and was not loved, was not appreciated, and then vilified, and then she died mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris. This is a little different from a typical situation. So this is what I'm speaking of. Yeah. So maybe we're on the same page, maybe we're not, but that's just the way I see it. You know, I hate to say it, but recollections will vary. But yeah, but to the degree where you're sitting on a plane and your ex-wife appears and says, um, you know, you did the best you could, it's gonna be okay. Uh, yeah, yeah, that's what I'll say to that. Yeah. Okay. So if you haven't seen Charles III, it is a very good movie. I watched it and it, you know how they say art imitates life? Well, in the movie, Harry meets a black girl. And the one person who was okay with it was Charles. He seemed to be okay with it, much to everyone's shock. Um, but now what happened with that relationship, I won't tell you that. But Charles seemed to be okay with it. The Charles III in the movie. But it was a really good movie. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because of this. In the movie Charles III, there were these ghostly appearances by Diana. And this is the Diana's ghost from Charles III. This is Diana's ghost from Charles III. And I believe that the ghost in Charles III did not have a line. She just stood there and they would talk to her and they would say things. And there was an implied silent agreement or resolve or apologies accepted, acknowledgement, but it was all done silently. So this is where that comes from. But that ghost certainly did not appear on a flight across the English Channel. That ghost did not appear in the Queen's parlor. Um, it didn't work like that. It did not work like that. So it was very different in that respect. I didn't like it. I thought the movie was the series, whatever. And I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish the next 4 episodes. I'm not telling you to not watch it because of what I say, but if you find what I say bothersome, I would say don't watch it. It drags out the whole scenario to death way too long. Way too long. That was just it that was unnecessary. That was like some type of, let me see, not exhibitionism, but it was just a morbid, like a morbid circus like thing that should not have been on film. Now there's Peter Morgan. Peter Morgan, how Prince Charles once joked with the Crown creator and writer Peter Morgan when he was presented with a CBE. Hmm. So you get a CBE, and then from that point on, everything that you have produced or written or directed, seems to give Charles a free pass. It seems to make Charles cool, hip, misunderstood, um, just someone who was doing his best. He was doing his duty. He was mistreated by his mother and his father, and he should not be frowned upon, if you will. He should not be chastised. There should be no finger pointing because he was just as much a victim as anyone. Baloney. Princess Di's dark side doesn't get a look in. What was the dark side? What was the dark side? That she was 16 years old when she was groomed to go into that institution and nobody really cared for her? That was her dark side? That was her dark side. That she had to make deals with the press because the institution was not protecting her any longer. Not that they gave her much protection, but she had to make deals with the press. And if that's where they want to vilify her, because she had to make her own side deals with them, I don't know where she went wrong. She didn't have a choice. The institution certainly wasn't protecting her. Not as much when she was in it, and certainly not when she was out of it. If this is how you treat the mother of the future king, could you imagine how they were treating Meghan? This idea that Diana understood, or the ghost of Diana understood and was okay with and looked past and knew better and brought this on herself. That was the message that I got from the Crown. I heard more from Diana post-mortem than I have the whole time I've known of the real Diana in life. I've heard more about her. I've heard more quotes. There's been more conversations quoted. And yet, you would think that before you complete the production, that the writer of The Crown, you would suppose that he would go to spare to make sure that he got certain details correct. But he didn't. And let me ask you all one more question. Where was all the outrage this season that we heard last season? Where was the, oh, they better put a disclaimer outrage? Oh, they better not do this. They better not do that. Where was all that outrage? Now, my theory about last season is that they made a big fuss to make sure that people watched it, right? And then when they saw how bad the ratings were for this season, I guess they didn't want to try to do the same stunt twice. Because if you ask me, last season, everything went Charles' way. This season, even more so. Everything is so much more in favor of Charles. You know, like Harry said, this is all fiction. That this is an interpretation. That this is not, it is not an accurate depiction of what happened at that time. Like in this season 6, after Diana's death, William disappeared for 14 hours. He's never done that before. First, I've heard of that. I mean, for theatrical reasons, for artistic purposes, they can take artistic license with any area of the story for artistic purposes. A lot of these docudramas, the timetables don't even line up. They don't even line up. But for the expediency of it, to help keep the movie moving along, they have been known to change things. I thought it was gross. I thought it was awful, awful. King Charles III absolutely devastated since Prince Harry married Meghan Markle. King Charles III is absolutely devastated at the way his relationship with Harry has changed since his son married Meghan Markle, a royal expert claims. The Daily Mirror reports that the monarch is understood to have been heartbroken by how his relationship with the Duke of Sussex has changed since he married Meghan Markle. So that, of course, was to create apathy, negativity against Meghan. That's part of the theme that Harry changed because of Meghan. It seems like Harry had been struggling for years before Meghan. Harry didn't have much of a relationship with William before Meghan. We never heard Harry's story. The only thing we heard about Harry was what the tabloids told us and what the tabloids were told by the royal family, the leaks. There was no accurate characterization of Harry before Harry wrote Spare. We just did not have one. Yeah, it's Meghan's fault. It's Meghan's fault. And let me show you some gaslighting. I just grabbed a few pieces of gaslighting. Why does Prince Harry always make Charles the villain and never Diana? As a betrayed wife, I was on team Diana, so why have I finally forgiven Camilla? I'm sorry. You know, every time that comes out of my mouth, when I hear myself say it, I kind of forget to breathe. So, sorry. Royal photographer stirs controversy by claiming Camilla is nicer than Princess Diana and easier to get on with. People's memories are slipping. That was a pregnant pause. That was a pregnant pause. But they have been working on Diana's memory for years. They've done everything that they could to try to destroy her again. It's bad enough what happened in a tunnel in Paris, but every time they write these kind of articles, it's another tunnel in Paris. Lady T say they both sleep, but I believe the littlest one is about to wake up. I'm too old for this. Okay, I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but all right. Let me see. What was supposed to be happier times? Let me see. I think that is that Diana's sister behind Charles. Let me see. Willie in the middle, Harry on the end next to his mummy. A very strategic stance to make sure, just in case something happens. There's the Queen and Charles. Oh, you know what? This was. Let me see. What was this occasion? That is the King of Greece there and his wife. No, I'm sorry. That's Susan Hussey in green. I don't know what this occasion is. I think that's the King of Greece. I don't know what that occasion is. All right. So, 1970, Charles and Camilla began their romantic relationship. 1973, Camilla breaks things off to marry Andrew Parker Bowles. 78, 79, they resume their relationship. 81, they break off their liaison when Charles becomes engaged to Diana Spencer, Lady Diana Spencer. 1986, Charles later admits this was when he resumed his affair with Camilla. 1995, Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles divorce. 1996, Charles and Diana divorce. 1999, Camilla and Charles are pictured together for the first time. And let's see, their royal wedding at Windsor Guildhall. It was in 2005. How can those who mourned for Diana betray her now by crowning this woman who stole her husband, her throne, and her sanity? Good question. From from Rottweiler to Queen Consort, Camilla's rise from shadow of Diana. And over there, that was the headline in the Daily Mail. The secret tea time meeting that sealed Diana's fate. Richard K. Look at the name there, Richard K. It's always one of the Dickies, isn't it? Dickie K, Dickie Arbiter, Dickie Fitzwilliams. It's always one of them, isn't it? Always one. They've been writing this dribble for years. They have been in cahoots for years. And of course, 1992 is a year that I shan't look back on. I'm sorry. I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. Yeah, 1992. Let's go for it. Well, let me see. Diana called her the Rottweiler. Let me see. I don't know what that is. Those first two. Windsor Castle burned down. Oh, and they got a divorce that year, right? Right. Well, November 3rd, 1992. All right. I forgot what story that was in reference to. Diana's rival, as if, and that came out in what, 1992, I think. For 2 decades, Charles has sought comfort and companionship from a married woman. Now his bond with Camilla Parker Bowles could cost him the throne. Well, we know how that story ended. Diana should keep quiet. They're planning to make it look like an accident in my car so Charles can marry again. I shall fight to the end. I will not go quietly. Ooh, boy, I tell you, there was a lot of stuff played out in the headlines. And then, of course, Diana, Dodie dead, Diana critical. Dodie is killed, Diana badly injured in Paris car crash. Dodie dead, Di badly injured, Dodie dead, Diana hurt in smash. These were the headlines that were supposed to be in the morning papers. Princess Diana and Dodie are killed in Paris car crash. Diana is dead. Diana dies in Paris car crash. Oh, there you go. Charles wins, Diana loses. Dynamite. Oh, God. Some of the stuff that they wrote. Yeah, and these are like some foreign papers from the time, the Bangladesh time and such. Do you? Diane, I'm sorry, Elaine Parker, that is, says she has all those papers. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Show us you care. Let the flag fly at half mast rather. Speak to us, Mom. Where is our queen? Where is her flag? Hmm. You know, one could say that one of the reasons why they were doing that was so that people wouldn't look to the tabloids and blame them. So, of course, they had to shift the blame over to the palace. I don't know what to think about that because we just don't know what was said and when it was said. But the point is, it should have been done either way. It was short-sighted. How did Dodie and meet Diana? Their relationship is explained ahead of the Crown season 6. Uh, oh well. So you guys, that was my review. I hated it. I thought it was awful. Her Madge sequins service. Her Madge is who writes this stuff? Queen Camilla picks Diana's favorite designer for coronation gown. That was sick. And there's Diana walking down the aisle, and there's Camilla wearing white on Diana's wedding day. I forgot which squatty said that the coronation is like the wedding that that Camilla never had with Charles. It really was kind of like a wedding, wasn't it? And of course, they talked about the landmines, but they didn't mention Diana's trips to the US or other places. But that was like one of Diana's more successful trips after the divorce was when she went to Chicago. Diana's daring new life. Now, I have a little soundbite for you guys. I'm done with that one. Oh, where is my speaker? Oh, there it is right there. Got a little soundbite for you, courtesy of Window Pierce. Anyway, The Crown is awful. Watch it at your own peril. I thought it was one of the worst examples of movie making I've ever seen. It was just dreadful. It was terrible. It was repugnant. I couldn't taste the smell by smelling it. That's how bad it was. I couldn't taste the smell by smelling it.
When you took the role of Robert Zane in Suits, I can't imagine for a second that you thought you were going to be playing the dad of a future princess of
Yeah, right.
the royal family of England. How weird was that?
I didn't believe it, you know. like when everybody was aware that Meghan was dating Prince Harry, I was like, man, you guys are making it up, you know. And then one day I showed up on set. We were doing a scene, and she was engaged in the show, and wasn't engaged yet. Uh, and we were in a car. We were about to get out the car. They said, "No, stay in the car. Stay in the car." Uh, they said, "We have a paparazzi down the block, you know, with long lens, and if they get a shot of Meghan with that ring on, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna go around the world instantaneously. So Meghan, take the ring off." Like, okay, now get out. I said, "Wow, you guys are going through all of that." And then when we got out of the car, there was this rock solid secret agent MI5 guy security that took Meghan and whisked her off. He said, "I'll take it from here," you know. And I was like, I heard the British accent. I said, "Oh, oh, that's real. It's the real deal." And they sent security over, and they had security, and that's when I knew they were dating.
When you took the role of Robert Zane in Suits, I can't imagine for a second that you thought you would.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, that was the interview where, well, I don't know how old this interview is. Caddy K. Caddy K. I kind of like Caddy K. Is she shady? I hope not, because I like her. Let me see. Wait, who said that? Oh, thank you, Mabel Jones. It was awful. That was just awful. I cannot unsee it. I never watch it again. It was just terrible. I cringed. I just don't know how you can make something as terrible as that and be okay with it. I wish they would have brought in a writer that would have been more hostile toward the royal family. I really do. Not a writer that was unbiased, but someone who was biased, bitter, cruel, mean, and fearless. That's what's called for. That's the only way you can balance season 5 is to bring in an executioner for season. I wanted them to find a writer whose nickname is Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, that's who they should have brought in, a real Hannibal for season 6. You can tell I'm not pleased. Absolutely not pleased. I am not amused. We are not amused, as the Queen would say. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like her. I've always kind of liked her. Yeah, I don't think that Charles listened to the Queen um, after a certain point when the Queen gave more and more responsibility to Charles, and Charles eventually became a regent in all but name. He was putting his agenda together, and at a certain point, the Queen, knowing that Charles is going to be king, it wasn't a whole lot she could do about it. Eventually, his household showed little respect for the Queen's household. There was like the old guard. Okay. Moving on. There were some double takes, some minor jaw drops, and whispers attempting to fact check if it was, in fact, royalty blessing us with her presence. The fangirling continued through the night as TV personality Garcelle Beauvais said during her opening remarks, I took a picture with Meghan Markle so I can die now. I love that. Let's take a little look at yesterday's, shall we? Let's see, where is yesterday's? Where are the videos from yesterday? I got to get used to this one. Yesterday. I love that video from last night. Only thing is, I don't see it now. There it is. There it is.
Oh my God, I love you so much. I love her. Oh my God, not with the flashlight. I'm sorry, it turned on. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I love you so much. I love her. Oh my God, not with the flashlight. I'm sorry, it turned on.
I love that. I love that. That was fun. That was fun. And then this was posted. I think she posted this today, actually. Still enjoying the moment. Still enjoying the moment. And that's really cool. And she looked amazing, by the way. She looked absolutely amazing. Okay. And then right here, Meghan Markle has her own theory about why Suits is enjoying a strange new respect. You're in it, okay? And from all accounts, it was a very well done show. And of course, let me see. Oh, that other thing. You're in it. So yeah, um, I'm gonna say a lot of it has to do with the way things have gone. And you know what? The cast of Suits deserves this resurgence of popularity. They really do. Meghan Markle stuns in nude gown during surprise appearance at Variety's Power of Women event. Meghan Markle made an unexpected appearance at Variety's Power of Women event on November 16th. Yes. Stunned. Stuns. And she did. And she did. Talk about effect. Everything was just picture perfect. Right from the bun to the shoes. And there's that poor woman that I was trying to help, y'all. You see, I had cropped that photo because unfortunately she had just kind of puckered, or, maybe she had a little gristle in her teeth or something like that. And click, click, the cameras got her. So I did what I could to try to help her, but unfortunately, Elle magazine just went ahead and put it out there. So it's out of my control now. Now everybody is going to get a chance to see who those soup coolers belong to. Those big, gigantic soup coolers. Yep. Well, I tried to help her. I really did. I was going to just crop it, and nobody had to be the wiser, but Elle magazine just threw them out there, just threw them lips out there. And when, of course, I saw that, the first thing, I was like, wait a minute, I thought Helen Martin had passed away. For a minute there, I thought that was Helen Martin from 227. Remember the nosy neighbor, Pearl? I thought that was Pearl, but it wasn't Pearl. It was, well, I don't know who that is, but Poe thing. But anyway, it reminded me of Pearl, so y'all know I ain't got no sense. But yeah, she just kind of reminded me of Pearl from 227. Well, anyway, with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for listening to my review of that dreadful, meaningless, ridiculous season 6 of The Crown. Some of the worst cinematography ever. And I will see you all tomorrow. So, about the hours for Royal Sussex. This works for me. Usually, I'm rushing during the day, trying to hurry up and put things together, but it just seems so much easier for me to end my day with Royal Sussex rather than starting the day, or in the middle of the day is even worse. So I suppose the later show is a good place for me. It's good for the people in other time zones, that's for sure. At the very least, I'm going to attempt to come on at least an hour earlier, so about 9 o'clock Central Time, maybe 10 o'clock Eastern Time. But for now, it just makes sense. But yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, but I was eating up too much of the day. If I had an appointment or if I had errands to run, it was putting a lot of extra added pressure. So later is better. It doesn't have to be this late necessarily, but later is better for me. And then, on occasion, there will be some days where we go on sooner rather than later. But what is 8 p.m. for you, though? What is 8 p.m.? Are you in California? So 8 p.m., that's 10 p.m. for me, right? Yeah. And I'm hoping that we can go on a little sooner. And there's always a possibility that that would be 7 o'clock for you, and that's 9 o'clock for me. that is a good place, is there. And of course, shortening the Royal Sussex 2 and 3 hours. That is just way too long. It's okay once in a while, but not every day. So I'm gonna have to shorten these down to an hour somehow. But like I said, just for now, it works. But when my schedule changes, then other things can change along with it. But I was losing too much of the middle of the day, trying to prep at a certain time. And when Naomi Maria say it's perfect in Australia. Uh yeah. So yeah, possibly an hour sooner than where we started today, or hour and a half sooner, possibly. But because it's a little late for me too, because I have to do something at around midnight. That like right now it's already midnight, and yeah, so yeah, I have some different things throughout the day that makes this time slot easier for me. But yeah, it's a little later than what I would hope for. And sometimes it's just because more information comes out, or something changes, or I'm editing something. And when I go into an edit, it's just like I cannot tear myself away from it. So that is one of the aggravating factors. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But there's no perfect time for anybody, I suppose. Well, or should I say, there's no perfect time for everybody. Just, some people here and some people there. But I do thank you all for being here at whatever time that you are able to be here. I really, really appreciate it. And thank God for this community. How great. How great. I was just looking at someone from Twitter who raised some money for Scotty's little soldiers. And every day I kept saying, oh, I'm going to have to share that. And I keep forgetting about it. So if the fundraiser is not over, I'll share it tomorrow. But I think they raised about $2,200 or something like that. So yeah, I kind of missed that one. Oh, okay. So thank you, Black Queen, Elaine Parker, Joan Lawman, Carolita Simone, and of course, Black Queen, Audrey Teschner. But yeah, thank you very much. And let's see if that jives with Sherry Ware's list. I think we're right on board. Yep. Thank you very much, Sherry Ware. And thank you all for your support of Royal Sussex. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And I guess otherwise, Lydia and Church Nelly can think of some words that need to be eliminated from the comment section. Yeah, that's fun. Let me see. I'm going to take a look at it right now. I want to see. I want to see if y'all added some words. Huh. Wow. It looks like. Well, maybe. Did I add those, or did you all add those? Well, anyway, I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Oh, and by the way, let me see. URLs sent in live chat are already blocked. If you select this option, New comments with hashtags or URLs will be held for review. This setting does not apply to you, moderators, or approved users. So, yeah, if you all try to share a link and you don't see it in the comments, that's because only the moderators or myself could add links. But because that we were getting a lot of links for cryptocurrency and stuff like that. So if you notice you don't see a lot of those crazy links anymore, that's because they added a feature where we can block those types of things. And it's just, it's just to make sure that there's like not a lot of that spamming and stuff like that, or derangers trying to mess with people. So they eliminated that where you can just throw links up there. Attention! No links in the comment section. Attention! No links in the comment section. I don't know when I started doing imitations and stuff like that, but the question is, when have I not done that? And I will admit, some are better than others. Some I'm just like, I just cannot get that for nothing. And then others is just like really easy. Oh, you know what? If you guys Google or if you go to like Wikipedia and you search Helen Martin, you will see that this lady has been on and a lot of you baby boomers have seen her seem like your whole life, but she has been in so many television shows and so many movies that it's mind blowing. But she's done everything from Starsky and Hutch to, um, you know, everything. She's just been in so many things. She was a staple in Hollywood. And Helen Martin, Isabel Sanford, Esther Rose, and of course, what's her name? The big Hollywood actress, the black lady, the one that played Michelle Obama, and she really shouldn't have. It just goes to show that if you allow yourself to succumb to negativity and hate comments from people, because I remember one time, Viola Davis, thank you. I remember one time when I believe it was Isabel Sanford, people were like trying to discourage her from pursuing an acting career. But she knew she had talent. She knew she had something to offer, right? And she just did it. And there's some people that are so superficial that they believe that a certain physical type is the only thing people want in Hollywood. And it's so strange how some very average people become big stars. And Helen Martin, I mean, she was not a conventional beauty by anybody's imagination, but yet she was one of those rare birds that you want to be and you may never be, and that's a working actress. A working actress. There's a lot of people that call themselves actors and they never work. They rarely work. They could be beautiful as they want to be and they never work. But she constantly worked. She didn't get a lot of money. She probably never made the kind of money she should have, although she was very comfortable. But she was working And she was, I tell you, I've had some jobs. When I hear people complain, like I love Viola Davis, but when I hear Viola Davis talk about not getting what she's supposed to have, I would invite Viola to come and do some of the work I've done in my lifetime. Um, I would invite any of them to come and do some work that I've done in my lifetime. It's kind of hard for me to feel sympathetic, only because it's rare to be an actor in the first place, a paid actor. That's rare. A lot of people will never be on a television series. A lot of people will never be in a major motion picture. And I don't want to say, oh, well, be satisfied, take what you can get. That ain't my point. But I'm just saying there's a lot of people, as bad as you might think it is, a lot of people that would trade places with you in a heartbeat. Because I've had some jobs that suck. I mean, they were awful. And I did what I had to do. So, yeah, hard for me to identify with people in Hollywood that don't feel like they're getting their value and worth. Come and join me one day. Come and join me one day. They have casting couches in Hollywood. They have casting couches at fast food restaurants. There's people that find themselves on a casting couch, and I'm using the metaphor, that work at a fast food restaurant just so that they can keep the lights on and keep their family fed and such. And those are the unsung heroes that keep this economy going. So that is how I feel about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's always a factor, that comparison. But I'm just saying that there's so few people, so few women of certain ages in particular, that can find work. I mean, that is a problem that affects such a small percentage of the population, a very small percentage. Now, in principle, when it comes to society as a whole, it's not just a fight about the small percentage of people. It's about, Black women in all types of work. But for that particular type of work as an actor, um, God, I'm just saying, you're lucky to be working. You're lucky to be working, because there's a lot of people, Black, white, or whatever, that cannot find a project, that will never get the type of acknowledgement they deserve. So, but I celebrate her for her accomplishments. I think she's a fantastic actor, and and she deserves to be well compensated for what she does. But I'm just saying, remember the little people out here. Remember the people who will never be known as a public commodity, will never make that any kind of money to really speak of, that are mistreated in the workplace every single day. Every single day. I didn't know how bad things were in the fast food industry for women, especially women whose first language is not English. Um, is something that people don't talk about enough. It is something people don't talk about enough, and there's just not enough people speaking out for them. Oh, thank you for that. Scotty's Little Soldier link added was too long to add the charity name with the official donation link. Okay. So is there still a link for it though? Maybe I can put it in the community tab. I'll look into it for tomorrow. Yeah, that's true. Cookies and cream. That's true. She was one of those people that people were like scoffing at. You don't look the right way. You don't. This ain't right. That ain't right. And she deserves to be celebrated for. You know, I believe I heard her say one time that nobody had ever told her she was beautiful in the black community. Nobody in the black community told her she was beautiful. And that is a problem that we have. That is seriously a problem that we have. And I've heard that many times where, especially for black women, that you don't have enough black people that lets you know how beautiful you are. If you're not the right complexion, you just, that's something you don't hear. You just don't hear it. You're not encouraged in that way. So that's something within the black community we really got to fix. We really got to work on that. We really have to work on that because sometimes we can be so cruel to each other. We can be very cruel to each other. And that's something that I have been pushing against for a long time is that type of bias and prejudice really within the community. And that just should not be. That should not be. Yeah, thank you, Black Queen. Black Queen says it's plantation mentality colorism. Yeah, and I hate, I hate colorism. I hate it for Viola Davis. I hate it for Meghan. I hate it for anybody because it pits one against the other. It's a way to divide and conquer. Is That's what it's there for, is to divide and conquer. Let me see. Yeah, Mabel Jones. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got bothered, and I'm not gonna stay on that long, but I got really bothered when people would say Beyonce could have done much better. Beyonce could have done better than that. I'm like, the man got $1 billion. He seems to worship her. They seem to have a good, solid relationship. They're still together. You know, there's practically no type of controversy about their relationship. What does better mean? I think I know what better means, but I'm just saying that in a very broad way. What does better mean? What does better mean? Yeah, I hate when people say, "Oh, they could have done better for themselves." Uh-huh. According to who? According to who? They could have done better. Well, Black Queen, they had their problems and they worked it out. They worked it out. That could happen to anybody. They worked it out. They worked it out. Yeah. I think if they work it out, they work it out. I mean, yeah, I remember the kick in the elevator, and that seemed to have something to do with that. But look at where they are now. Look at where they are now. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Sherry Ware. That's it. If you guys want to make a contribution to the Scotty's Little Soldiers, Joe Diva, exactly. Joe Diva from the world of Twitter. That's the link right there. So I keep forgetting to post it, but thank you, Sherry Ware. I'm going to put it at the top of the chat. If you don't know if you want to do something now, just please click on the link so you'll have it on your device. And if you can do something, you can, but at least you know it's available. And I'll try to remember to do it tomorrow if possible. But yeah, so that's it. That's the thing for Scotty's Little Soldiers. And as you can see, they managed to raise $2,300, 2,300 pounds. And that's well over what they were hoping to raise. The target was 1,000 pounds. So if you are so inclined, please do so. There's only been 101 people that have made a donation thus far. So please, 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 if you can, make a donation to Scotty's Little Soldiers, and preferably with the Sussex's name on it, or whoever you choose to honor. But yeah, thank you very much. All right, and with that, you guys, I am going to get out of here. But I guess if I were to ask you another thing besides these Scotty's Little Soldiers, just remind the people in your life how much you appreciate them, how beautiful they are, and how special they are. Because I don't think we do that enough with one another. And you know, black, white, whoever, I don't care, but compliment each other more, celebrate one another's accomplishments and good points, and try to avoid the negative stuff, because there is a world of it. And somebody has got to show people love. That's what Princess Diana said. People want to know that they're loved. It's just such a simple message, and it seems to be what the institution held against her. But it's just that simple. People need to be loved. So do that. Do that. You'll feel better. Okay. So thank you, Diana. Thank you, Meghan, for another amazing week, another inspiring week. And of course, the rock of the Sussex household, Doria. And our last word of the day, let me see. When people cannot put you in a color category, they have a problem with you. Oh, thank you, Reba Henderson. That is true. That is true. Oh, well, let's let Scotty's Little Soldiers be the last word of the day. The Scotty link. We'll close it with that. Scotty's Little Soldiers. Ella Parker, good morning to you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. We fixing to go, but we're glad you're here. Let me see. Naomi Maria said, Baroness, that's hardening and cruel to listen to those black news front women putting Meghan down. Makes me sick. Yeah. I can't stand that. That hurts me. That hurts me. That hurts me. And you know, and I know plenty of people that have struggled because people have you know, been aggressive or have attacked them and accused them of trying to pass and all that kind of stuff. And it goes both ways. It really does. It goes both ways. There's just so many levels and degree of it that is hard to calculate. But you know me, I don't fool with colorism. I do not fool with colorism. I don't care what complexion somebody is. First and foremost, if you respect me, I am going to respect you. Bottom line, I don't care about that other stuff because it is so subjective. The interpretation is really based on individual experiences, and I can't tell somebody when they black and when they not. I can't tell somebody, oh, you shouldn't say you're mixed race. You got to pick one. I can't tell people when to do that. I'm not the police for people's ethnicities. That's taking on too much responsibility, and I'm not going to do it. That's between you and your God. It's none of my business. How many friends you have of this and of that, that ain't none of my business. How you identify, how you see yourself, that's on you. Oh, thank you, Ella Parker, for being here. And thanks. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Connie Bomber! Connie Bomber, we're leaving now. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Well, let me see. Where should I start? Oh, I know. Don't watch The Crown. It's awful. But if you do watch it, it's still awful. I watched it and I'm gonna finish the next round when it comes out, but it's terrible. It's dreadful. It's the worst thing ever. Peter Morgan, if I ever see him, I'm going to admonish him with my stare. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to admonish him with my eyes. Yep. If I ever see Peter Morgan, I'm going to say, uh-huh. 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 He'll know what I'm talking about. Uh-huh. I bet he'll know what I'm talking about. Butthole. Anyway, Connie Bomber, we're gonna go. Sorry you overslept, but you know what? I'm glad you got your rest. You obviously needed your rest. So all the best to you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everyone. Love you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow.